Welcome to another session of Pair With Me. Today we're going to try and implement some helpful collision methods. These are things I've actually been wanting to be able to continue my game examples. I figured they'd be good baked into the engine since this is going to be incredibly common functionality. So let's get into it. So we're going to try and do two of them today. I want to do more down the line, but I'll try to keep this video short. I meant to record literally 2 days after my last video, but I got sick, as you can probably still hear in my voice, and it took me out for an entire week. I was like kaplonk. I could not think. My brain was, I took the week off of work. I haven't been that sick in forever. It was rough. But anyways, I'm feeling a lot better. My brain at least works, even if my throat's a bit funny, but we're going to see how it goes. And yeah, I just really want to get this done so I can continue on with my journey. So we're going to start with rectangle and vector, as that's quite straightforward, or should be. So let's obviously rectangle test. We need one of those. Describe. And I'm thinking of calling it rectangle like includes. And it'll take in a few different things down the line, but right now it's just vector. We're going to be writing this in Ruby, so you won't be seeing C++ today, hopefully, but who knows. And anyways, I actually had music lined up because I added it in post last time, but I found some stuff I can play. It's not recording it. There we go. Excellent. So it should include, so given we have a rectangle and a vector, now we can just do it like normal people. Rectangle.new x. I'm going to keep it pretty basic. Let's do 3y comma 3. We'll do 4. We'll just do it so it's nice. We'll do a few different cases just to catch all the quirks and stuff. We'll do a width of 2, a height of 3, so that makes it 5 and 7, which is reasonable to work with. You will see me mute occasionally to cough. And at vector equals vector2. We will do the x. We'll start at 0, y, comma 0. Then it's outside, so we return false. Expect at rectangle dot includes question mark at vector dot to be false. I think I have set up as a thing slash rt. Describe. Oh, right, it's at unit. Gosh, it's been a minute. I did notice I made quite a lot of typos and a couple of little issues in my last video. I'm trying to focus a little less on yapping. Okay, excellent. Yep, does raise no method. Yeah. I need to fix up NeoSpec to be a little bit better about things exploding, because it does catch some errors, but no method error still throws it off, which is annoying. Right. When the vector is inside the rectangle, then we'll set at vector.x equals 4 at vector.y equals 5, so it's firmly inside. We can actually do 6. Then it's inside, so we return true. And then we're going to do a couple cases where it's on the edge. So when the vector is on the top edge, do end. We can actually just, I'll set both just for simplicity. So it matches, so x is equal to 3. Then it's, we'll say considered inside, because it's, and then we'll do obviously bottom edge. So that's 3 plus 2, which is 5. It's considered true. And then we can do this, and top becomes left. You become 4, so you're in the middle. You become 4, so you're on the left. You are 4, and you are 7. So those should be all true. And we should do one where it's like further away. Because we've done 0, 0, so top left. When the vector is further out than the rectangle. And I think that should be enough cases. Because this is a pretty aggressive amount of testing, I will admit. But I would like to be thorough. It's not inside, so we return false. Cool. And this also obviously explodes because we do not have that stuff. Which is true, we don't. He puts in the semicolon. So I have, I typed Dvorak. I don't know if I touched on this. So I have control, what would be Control Z for people bound to mute. I use this at work. I use it in Discord. I use it for this. It's just muscle memory at this point. Because I'm pairing all the time, it's like, I consider it rude to cough into the mic. So I try very hard to mute whenever I like cough or what have you. And yeah, I'm just very used to it. So that's why you see me hitting Control Z and typing semicolons pretty frequently today. I was actually impressed with how cleanly I did the last video. Alright, so let's look at the source Ruby rectangle class, which is where this method will exist. Alright. Def includes other. Oh, that's what we didn't do. When passed in anything other than a vector, raise an error. So we expect block rectangle.includes, and we'll question mark string, just make it really silly. I expect dot to raise argument error. Oh, there's those semicolons. Must pass in a vector2. Oh, and thingy. Yep. Sweet. Oh yeah, I haven't saved rectangle. That's why I saw a plus. That makes sense. I was just double checking I didn't forget to save the test, which I do way too often. Way too often. Right, so let's just assume we have a vector2. Let's get to the test breaking because we haven't implemented the guard clause, and then do it. Cool. What are we going to do? We just need to check that it's, yeah. So we want to return x, other.x greater than or equal to x, and other.x less than or equal to x plus width. Wrap you in parentheses to make it really obvious. And then x becomes y, width becomes height. You get deleted, and we format. I think this should make our tests pass up until the argument error. Yeah, it does. No HL. Yeah, one of the funny things about having the terminal in my editor is it'll do the highlighting of things I've searched for in the terminal as well, which can be a bit can throw me off a bit. I do wish there was a way to like time out the search thing, but I've looked into it. It's technically possible, but it feels janky, so I just don't do it. Right. Yeah, so we didn't... Wait, what? Oh, I must have typoed the method, because that's... Oh, no, because it's getting no method error on the other thing. Yep. Yep. Argument error. What was the... Must pass in a vector2 unless other.is a vector2. And I don't love the is a checks, and they're pretty un-Ruby in a lot of ways. It's just something I try not to focus too much on. For here it makes a lot of sense where in a library I'm less fussed about it, like a library or a framework or something, because you're much less in control of what's passed to you. I will have documentation. I don't yet have documentation. Our tests will not pass without that. There we go. Objects not cleaned up. Why is it saying that? I haven't mocked anything. Test 13. Why is it? Interesting. So this check I put in because I was getting issues. So, for clarity, all of this GC start reference counter stuff. For embedded Ruby, so we're going to get into some C++ here. Reference counter. Okay, I have that, which is nothing. That's the documentation. That's the test. Where did I define this? Is it structs? Yes. This is a poorly named file. This is from very early in the days of learning all this stuff. I've cleaned it up a bit since then, but this horrendous mess is how embedded Ruby. So if we look, add type here. This is it's a macro. Can I? No, I can't. I thought I had a way of expanding what this macro actually is. But essentially it boils down to, I think it only expands if it's an error. So for each type of object you support in embedded Ruby and C++, you have to define how it is freed. Now, for a lot of things, you don't need to do anything. It just frees it, it runs free. Free class, yeah. So I was passing the void pointer. Yeah, it just runs MRB free. So yeah, mRuby's internal free. But I found that if you have like multiple references to the same C++ pointer, it would clean it up every time. So you have to do a level of reference counting to know when the last time this is the final free because it's no longer referenced anywhere. This took me a long time to track down to figure out initially, which was a lot of the early seg faults came from, oh, my mouse has been on the way for a while, came from this. So I have testing around this as well because I recently found in my 4.0 040 upgrade that I had a memory leak. I wasn't actually cleaning things up properly. I can't exactly remember what it was, but I just wasn't freeing something, or I can't remember exactly. We could go through the commit histories if you're really interested in a different video. But yeah, so I have testing around this, and the tests were annoying because other tests weren't cleaning up after themselves. That's what I haven't done. I think I'd need to deliberately go and, because it has colors. Hang on. If I look at so here the reference counter test will actually be really useful. Because if I search for rectangle, yeah, we need to do, I need to assign it to nil, right? This is what I haven't done. So it's still held onto in memory. So we want to go to our test. That's all I've forgotten to do. And clean up. So at rectangle equals nil. And I think we'll do at vector equals nil. I'm pretty sure these instance variables are kept to this scope. Pardon me. But the after test runs too soon. I don't need to do that. And I think this now doesn't explode. Yeah, there we go. So that's all that was. So this is just one of those little funny things that you can be tripped up by if you work on Taylor. You won't notice this using Taylor, because those things would just be garbage collected at some point. This is just to stop pollution of specs. So one test run can't ever affect another test run. Because I had a fair few instances of that when I went and fixed this up. I know what it was. Yeah, I had to add some really horrendous stuff to fix all that memory leak. It was basically like the little extra pieces that are tied to like a rectangle or a circle weren't being cleaned up. So the main thing was being cleaned up. And that was the problem. And I actually learned quite a lot about how the structs and that are defined. And I think if we look at the... No, we won't get into it. I won't dive into that. It's not today's video. Today's video is we're adding includes. So we have... Yep. So we've got our rectangle test. Let's close the things we're not looking at. Let's focus. So we have this. So let's add a test. At return a boolean. returns true if, we'll make it code, if the vector2 is contained inside this rectangle. So doing the little curly braces actually just links it in the documentation. Whoops, recturns is not a word. Or is on the border of GW. Example usage. So if we have a hitbox is equal to that. We do not care about color, so we can actually do away with that. It'll just get the default color. We say, let's just make the math a little simpler. 10 by 10, width 10, height 10. 10, 10, 10. Nice and easy. Position equals vector2.new. And we'll do x 5, y 5. Right? Puts hitbox dot includes. So this is just a standard check. And this will get false. But we do the position changes dot dot dot. So like time has passed, a player has moved. We now have 15 15 smack dab in the middle. We get true. And we'll do this once more just to showcase that position changes to inside the rectangle. Pardon me, changes to the border of the rectangle. So, or to the corner. Aha. So it is still true. And then we'll do one more. It's not as thorough as a test, but I don't expect it to be. I almost considered drawing little ASCII diagrams for this, but I thought that might be going a touch too far. I feel like this is pretty self-explanatory. How long have I been recording? Only 17 minutes, that's okay. Changes to far outside the rectangle. They're at 100. Oh, I've goofed up this syntax. See? But I caught it this time. There we go. Silly me. Comma, colon instead of a comma. Includes false, because we're very far away. At param other vector2. That's the syntax, right? Yes. And I think there's an at raises. I need to remember exactly. At raises. At raise. See? This is where I check. Yoink. Steal it from over there. If past anything other than vector2. There we go. So, I actually added this recently. Oh, my mouse is right in the middle. I'm sorry, that's been there for a while. So we've added tests, we've added documentation. We've not had to update the migrations because this is completely new functionality, but we've not done the changelog. Let's do that. Added rectangle hash includes. There you go. Yeah. Git checkout -b collision methods. Git add -p. We'll do a few little commits here. Yep. Status git commit. Oh. What DX? I did this, didn't I? Apparently not. There you go. dxxx bin setup. I did this and I rebooted my computer. That was a problem. And that orphan container Docker Postgres is from a different project. I don't know why that's there. That's a problem with my setup. Don't worry about that. That's no stress. Alright, now I can git commit. Oh, hang on. Ha ha ha. I missed step this. I have not run dxxx bin test. That's very naughty of me. I should do that. And this is why I have this checklist, because I'm trying to hold myself accountable, because I'm the only person working on this. So someone has to. The C++ check I know takes like 1.5 minutes, which is really annoying. Or like nearly 2 minutes, I think. Because it doesn't do it in parallel. But oh, between, no. Oh, over logical. Oh, okay, actually that's nice. Bin fix formatting Ruby. I added an extra new line apparently. What has this done? Okay, it's only done it for one of them. Let's accept this and let's do test Linux. So sometimes standard RB will suggest things that don't work. This one does work though, so we can actually go. I like that it only caught one of them. That's quite funny to me. Oh, fingers got carried away. That means we can actually just do that as a single line. So now we can do our dxxx bin test again. Rake clean, because it got upset that I ran it locally. Yeah, this is just one of the, I think it's the issue with like glibc differences between what's inside the Docker container and what's on my machine. A rake clean fixes it. I don't think about it too much. CPP linting, we didn't touch C++, so I'm just going to cancel that one, because I can do bin dxxx bin test formatting CPP. Yeah, so that will only check the files I have changed, whereas the other one is a full test, which is run by the test suite. So I'm not too fussed about that. It's more to push other people to make sure they're running tests and stuff, so I don't waste my server time running it. But I'm confident I have unstaged changes. Whoops. Git add -p. Yeah, I need to add that. Git commit. There we go. Add a rectangle hash includes. I'm very tempted to add a vector inside rectangle. So I might do that actually while we're here. I know the task was only for rectangle includes and circle includes, but I think we can do this because it's just the inverse, right? So if we go vector test, we do rectangle test, v% vy, and yes, I do think to myself in terms of Vim motions. Like I think like, oh yeah, VAP, VIB, DAP is one I type a lot, or DIW. Inside. Is there a better name for this method? Inside? I don't know. Vector2 inside. It's not contained? Included in? I think Ruby has like included in just feels awkward. I'm going with overlaps. That's a word I like. No, you know what? Includes. I think if everything is includes, I mean, yeah, I guess it makes sense. Does it? Vector2 includes. Hang on, let's have a... Okay, I'm going to change it from includes to overlaps. I think that makes way more sense. And that way we can use that same term across the entire code base. Because I did includes, but when I do rectangle and rectangle and rectangle and circle and rectangle and line and etc, etc, I'm going to say overlaps. Is there any overlap? That's the word I meant. So I think that's good. So we're just going to go and amend our commit. We haven't pushed, so that's all hunky-dory. Includes becomes, what did I say, overlaps. Donk. Yeah, I do. I don't know why I've done this the hard way. Whatever. I'll type it out manually. Excellent. Alrighty, now we can do our vector2 test, because it's going to be overlaps. Overlaps, 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 overlaps. Bumble. This classical music is pretty banging. I was worried it was going to like bother me. Let me just change the ordering here. Vector, overlaps, rectangle. If I VIBY, I can VI. Oh, hang on. Thingy 0 VIBP. If I do that again. No. Thing VIBP. Nah. I always forget how to use the other registers in Vim. Oops. So I just do it a bit manually. Which, you know, naughty. I should get better at it, but oh. I also forgot. Oh, dang it. Yeah, I'll just do it manually here. Last one here, and then we just have vector. Must pass in a rectangle. What I forgot to do was actually amend my commit. So we have includes to overlaps here. Yep. Includes to overlaps. Yep. Oh my gosh, this is driving me up the wall. Hang on. There we go. Yep. 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 No, not this file. Git status. So we should have 2 changes. We also need to update the change log. Overlaps. So we've done the documentation, the change log, the code, the tests. Good. I'll do a dxexec bin test. Ugh. Very clean again. Because I keep doing that mistake. Oh yeah, vector2 doesn't exist yet. But we can do git commit -- amend now. And it was happy with all of my formatting, so I'm pretty confident with that. So, let's implement overlaps for vector2. Which will probably have incredibly similar documentation. So I'm actually, I'll show you what I'm thinking. So I don't have this file open yet, is why I stared at that screen for like a minute. Before you here. Rectangle. So I'm going to do this. Yep, there you go. That'll be position.overlaps CRB hitbox. Do that, that, and then I'll delete. So I don't have to muck about with registers and stuff. So I think that's fine. Position overlaps hitbox. Yep, overlaps other must pass in a rectangle unless other is a rectangle. And then we can do the funny thing of other.overlaps, if I could type, self. So the main reason I wanted to call everything overlaps is we get this duck typing, right? We've made an interface where this thing takes something that responds to overlaps. So honestly, this might even be I'm hesitant to do does respond to overlaps because I think there are things that respond to overlaps that are wrong, like a range is an overlap, can have overlaps, but is someone going to pass that in? If they do, they'll just get a no method error like can't call .x on range or whatever, or you can't call .overlay on that. Ooh. must respond to hash overlaps unless other dot. Now the question is, I'm gonna have to do a quick Google. mruby respond to. Yeah, but I care very specifically about. Hang on. I'm gonna go to mruby.org and just check their docs. Sorry, I know this is unexciting me looking at all of their stuff. API docs. Methods. Respond. It does! Kernel respond to. Sweet. And it's singular. So our test needs to be updated. When passed in something that doesn't respond to overlaps, we raise an error. And the string was that the documentation is going to be a bit funny. I think we can just do something like object overlaps. I think Yard has a way of doing this. I think that is it. But yeah, we should actually run our test. So run test. Sweet, that works. Yeah. Bundle exec yard. This doesn't cause any complaints. Cool. Bin test documentation. Yep. Excellent. So what have we done? Looking at a pull request, we have added tests, we've added documentation, no migration, change log. Vector2.overlaps. And this way we get circle overlaps for free, right? So that's really good. I'm very pleased about that. Add -p. Yep. And I think there was something funny about that. Hang on. Oh, I didn't do the overlaps in my other commit. Boo. That's okay. The actual full commit history itself will contain it. Git status. Where are we at? Git commit. Add vector2 hash overlaps. Sweet. I could make that unit test way dumber. Right now it's technically over-specking because it's just respecking everything in Rectangle. When I go to add like circle and line and stuff like that, it's going to be a bit funny, but I'm okay with it for right this second. If it annoys me, I'll refactor it down the line, but I think that's a reasonable thing. Right. Circle. I actually double-checked the formula I need for this before, and they said stream recording. So if we do circle test, we pull out the rectangle test, oops, 3% y, yep. So add our test first. Alright, we have a circle and a vector. So circle equals circle.new x, y, and this has radius. So, what's a good radius? 3? That goes to 6, that goes to 7, that goes to 0, it goes to 1. Yeah, that's unique enough. Right. Circle. It's outside, so we return false. Slash rectangle. 2CFE. Circle. Bang, 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 bang. Bang, 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 bang. There we go. Right. The vector is inside the circle, so we'll say 3, 4. So it's smack dab in the what is it? Cell. Yeah, let's do a smack dab in the center. It's inside. The vector is on the top edge, so straight up. So straight up would be an x. No, sorry. Straight up is a x of 3 and a y of 1. bottom edge, so that's x of 3 again, and a y of 7, 8? 8. Right, I made the radius 4. I wanted it to be 3. Yeah, there we go, 3. Yeah, so that's 7. Yep, vector is on the left edge, so x becomes y. You are 4, that is correct. Bottom... Wait, what? Oh, left edge, yeah, and this should be on the right edge. And I need to go fix up all the other specs where I typed that wrong. So this is 3 plus 3 is 6. You are 4. 10, 10 is definitely out, so that is false. Yeah, cool. That should force us to write this correctly. I'm really hoping floating point calculations don't make this test a mess, because I don't want that. That sounds bad, you know? Oh yeah, rectangle test. We need to actually go. My Vim has been getting weirdly laggy at times. It's very annoying. Right, left edge, right edge. Hang on. I just goofed up this entire thing. So we have 3, 4 to 5, 7. Yep, so inside. Top. This is on the left edge. This is funny. So you're on the top edge. And this is on the right edge. So this is on the bottom. So this is on the right edge. I think. Yep, 6 is in the middle. 5 is the right edge. Yep. Left edge is 3 and 6. Yeah. Okay, I just had it backwards. Which means it's also wrong in my vector test. And this is the sort of stuff I do get annoyed at myself for, because like I miss it when I'm doing stuff like this. Like when I'm working by myself, it's so easy to just goof up. So you're the bottom edge. You're the right edge. You're the top edge. Yeah, you're on the left edge. Yep. We run tests, everything. Oh, I haven't passed in color to a circle. Oh, I have to pass in color. Did I not? Model color CPP. Did I not do a default color? Hang on, you're not. Circle CPP. Go away, color CPP. We looked at you last time. Oh, I do not define a default color. That's a little silly. Let's define a default color. Because I do that for rectangles. Yeah, circle can be hitbox. Doesn't need color. If I look at rectangle, I've got it in the docs. Color black. Okay. Let's do that. Color black. Just because I think it should always have a color. Like, I just think it's sensible. Which means color. Here we go. Yeah, I set it to a null pointer. I don't want to do that. I want to look at rectangle CPP, which I didn't open up. Color. Donk. Yes, else do this instead of null pointer. There we are. Yeah, rectangle doesn't exist. Circle, bang, 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 bang. There we go. Good. That is now the color black. Does that break anything? Oh yeah, I haven't told it the right amount of keyword arguments here. Required is 1 less. Yeah, so this is something that took me a while to figure out. unlike in Ruby, where you could write this in any order, like you could have this down here and it would know what the required keys are. In embedded Ruby, the first n, or however many, like in this case 3, have to be defined. That's why keyword argument's 3, and then the order they're defined in here says what they are. So that's how you know X, Y, and radius are required, by looking at the C++ code. But, yeah. Pardon me. But yeah, I also have documentation. So mrb doc circle, we'll go fix this up. Color is color black, which is technically secretly a lie, because it's actually set to what black is set to. It's not actually using the constant, and I'm fine with that. I think that's too fine-grained and nitty-gritty nonsense to be too fussed about. I don't think we have to do a test for this. Circle test. I have circle test up, right? Yeah. I guess we do test the default. Let's test the default. So you get 0. Oh, hang on. We can do that. Typoed. Why did I do /k? That's nothing. Expected. Yeah, you don't have overlaps. That's fine. Oh, see, this way I got all the way to the end without exploding. That's interesting. Expected color to equal empty string. Why are you saying that? What line is that? Circle test 6. Yeah, then it has this expected attributes. I comment that out. Does that pass? Yeah, okay, so it's... Why is that not... Why is color black nothing? That exists. Right? Yeah. Color black, right here. Why are you unaware of this? Have I typoed something silly? Color black. No. To equal color black. Yeah. Expected color to equal empty string. Oh, did I forget to save this? No, this has been saved. So we create a color, we add a reference to it. Ah, I haven't said that. What do I do in the rectangle? Hang on a second. I'm curious about, so, okay, I still add a reference to it. Okay, yeah, because it's not actually the thing. Yep. Cool. So this is that reference counting stuff I was talking about earlier. So this is, again, why I do this sort of way of instantiating. So C++ doesn't manage its lifespan for me. I just do it manually. Whoops. There we go. Cool. Circle does not contain overlaps. Let's go change log. Circle dash color now defaults to color black. Cool. So source Ruby color. I don't know if I had that open. I think I did. No, source model circle. Stop opening color. My brain is fixated on the word color. It's driving me up the wall. Alright, if I steal rectangle, I'll be... No, hang on. I don't need to do that. Def overlaps, question mark, other. So let's implement basic functionality first. So distance formula, Pythagoras says a squared plus b squared equals c squared for any right angle triangle, which is what we're doing. So c equals the square root of a squared plus b squared, which are the two vectors on donk. Let's do that. how to brain. So the distance of each. Let's write this out terribly. So x vector. I hate that name. We'll change it later. Other dot x minus. No, so x minus that. Right? Yep. So if it's further out, this is negative. I guess we want the absolute of this. Which it doesn't matter because we're going to square it. So y vector equals y minus other dot y. Then we have distance equals... We should probably have a, like... Do I have that? Hang on. Vector RB. Distance? No, okay. I should have that, like a distance method. Maybe we'll refactor this down the line to have that. Distance equals math.skirt. I actually looked up that this does exist before recording. It's a squared plus b squared. So x vector squared plus y vector squared. And then we return distance less than or equal to radius. Yes, correct. Our test will tell us. Yeah, perfect. It returns exactly what we expect. I do really hate that. X distance. Y distance. Yep. That's better. Yes, I think that's not too gross. I could do it in one line, but I think this just makes it way easier to read. I don't think performance is affected. That also passes, but yeah, we haven't passed in a thing. So let's go rectangle RB sort. There it is. I've got files open, so it feels like I have too many. My brain's like, I don't know, man. That's not what I actually wanted to steal, Sean. I wanted this. The guard clause must pass in a vector 2, and that means we pass that test. Beautiful. Returns true if the vector 2 is contained inside this circle or is on the border of. Yep. Circle. I think hitbox is still a reasonable term. 10, 10, 10, and we'll say radius 10. Just to make the math real easy. So 0 at 5, 5. Oh gosh, are we actually inside it at 5, 5? Radius 10. Zero, 0. False. To be inside. Yep, that's well within. On the corner of the rectangle. Ah, is inside rectangle, 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 rectangle. Come on, Sean. On the edge of the circle. Far outside the circle. Yep. So here if we say 0, 0, 0, 10. True. Far outside the circle. Yep. Boolean. Yes. Apparently I started recording a macro at some point during that. Who knows? Right, where are we? Git status. We need to add our changelog. Added circle hash overlaps. Sorry, some light shined in through the window and my brain was like, what's that? Shiny? Git add dash p. Let's do all of this. Yep, defaults to black. This is something I tend to do that I tell others not to, and I've combined two different notions into this pull request where I've changed the circle's default initializer, but it's just such a small change. I think it's fine. I would normally do it as like a single commit, but meh. Yep. It's the distance formula. Yep, changed, updated the test. We've added the test for this. Yep. We've fixed up our other tests. Beautiful. Its status. Now we can actually do dxxx bin test. That's probably going to explode. Yeah, right, clean. I feel like I should make bin test actually run a rake clean, but meh. This will take a minute. Oh, it doesn't like that. Okay. Interesting. Circle RB / RS. Okay, because I guess it's like the power symbol. You wouldn't normally put stuff around that. That makes sense, I guess. I accept. Bin test Linux dxxx. Yep, it's happy with that. And I'm just going to do bin test formatting CPP. It's really mad about that. Ruby. Bin fix formatting CPP, and always run this one inside the Docker container to make sure you get the correct version of Clang. There we go. It was upset about that for some reason. Sure, whatever. No shell. Oh, I don't know what I've done down there. That's interesting. It's a new Vim thing. I'm just hoping git status over and over again. dxxx bin test formatting CPP. Yep. Test linting? CPP. There we go. This should be a lot quicker. No, it's going to do everything. Ugh. Ugh. I thought this did my git changes only. Nah, screw it. Git status. You can do that in CI. I'm fine with that. I trust me enough. I'll just do one last bin test Linux. Right, git commit. Look at that. We've added stuff. Added circle hash overlaps and circle.new circled hash color now defaults to color black. One last thing we want to do. I've got to open vector test. I'm just going to change this. We have a... Yep. We're just going to do that. We're going to keep it very, very simple. And then we're going to copy this. And then we have a circle. Rectangle is not a circle. That's fine. X, yep. Radius 5. So yeah, just one inside, one outside. Does it work with this thing? It's on the top edge. So this is actually at vector.x equals 0, y equals 0. Is inside the circle. 4, 6 is well inside our circle. Circle. Oh, I included one too many of those. Yep, so I don't need that. And we need to delete at circle. And this should... Ooh! It's outside, so we return false. Oh yeah, that's not actually outside. We just do a small little baby one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 5. That's inside the circle, I think. Yeah. Off by 1 is like 1.41 something distance. Yeah, there you go. I know that because of all my game stuff I've done, and like, you know, in really, no, I'm aging myself saying that. In games like Doom and stuff where strafing was faster, and other like SNES games and stuff would do this too, and just like older games, obviously more retro. because they would just do, like, they wouldn't normalize your distance based on direction. Yeah. Yeah. Good times. Git status, git add-p. Yeah. And see, that was the refactor I said I'd probably butt heads with. Yep. Excellent. Git status. Git commit --amend. I think that's fine to go into that commit. And yeah, I think with that we're actually done. Git log. We have our 3 commits. Yeah, so git push origin --set upstream collision methods. And I've just been cleaning up my branches as I go, so I'll git checkout main git branch -d collision methods. There we go. Alrighty, I'll rerun my intro. Yeah, cool. Well, thank you for pairing with me today. We did implement Rectangle and Vector. We haven't implemented Circle and Vector. Down the line, I'll probably do it offline. I'm trying to like vary the things I do, because I did 2 other different color methods which were almost identical to what I did in the other video. I figured that just wouldn't be very interesting. With this, I'm actually hoping to... I need to change my setup and tweak stuff, but I want to do actual game dev on this channel. So, but that means like setting up my OBS to handle windows that pop up and stuff, and it's all doable. I just need to get off my butt and test it and whatnot. And I'm much less confident with that. I am considering in December doing Advent of Code as videos, so that could be a lot of fun. And again, thank you for pairing with me. Stay hydrated, and I hope you have some fun today. You know, do some programming, do whatever you want. But yeah, cheers. Bye.